There is Coach Roy in his 9th year at his alma mater. He's taken Carolina to a couple of national championships. And his 5 is back with Marshall, the assist king, and Strickland. And that vaunted front court with Zeller in the middle, Barnes and Henson flanking him. Meanwhile, for Kentucky, Teague, Lamb is back from last year's Final Four team. Kidd-Gilchrist, watch Anthony Davis. He is something else. As well as Terrence Jones, also returning in his sophomore year. Coach Cal, season number 3. After Elite 8 the first year, Final Four a year ago. It's North Carolina and Kentucky. Henson and Davis for the opening tap, and it's controlled by Henson and the Tar Heels, who won the regular season matchup by 2 last year in Chapel Hill before Kentucky beat them by 7 in New Jersey for the right to go to the Final Four. Zeller backing him in, has it stripped away, and here comes Teague. Teague with Marshall defending, and he goes right by him. Quick head ahead, and there's Barnes on the wing, and he hits a 3.
I think you're going to take a look to see whether or not that was a 3-point field goal by Barnes. But one of the things that the coaching staff for Carolina was concerned about was live ball turnovers, Jim. And right away on the double team of Zeller, they pluck it loose and get an easy one in transition. We'll take a look. Harrison Barnes, boy, that right toe. Looks like there might be a little space between the line and his toe there, but close enough to obviously warrant a second look. But good attack by Carolina after the made field goal from the above angle. Still, partner, can you discern what that might be?
There is not indisputable evidence there, as they say. And you got right there Tony Green, so close. Long respected official, was only 10 feet away. Mike Nance was the official at midcourt who said we better review that.
Right.
Ron Groover, the other official here today.
Well, if it's not indisputable, I think it's a 3. It has to stay as called. They gave it the 3-point signal. Well done. North
Carolina answers back. Oh, here it is. And it looks like a 3 to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, just a skosh.
That's all you need. All right, Kentucky able to set up now for the first time at this end of the floor. This is Teague driving in on Marshall. Well defended. Ball tapped around on the floor. Wild scramble into the hands of Davis. Jones wanting to challenge Henson. Off the glass, no, rolls off the rim, and Henson sweeps it for the Tar Heels. Got a game with a couple of dynamic shot blockers. Here's one defending right now, Davis on Zeller. And a violation on North Carolina, 3 seconds.
I think Tyler Zeller is going to have to catch it cleanly and get right into his move. If he takes an unnecessary dribble, he's going to be mobbed by that length of the Kentucky front line. He's got to be much quicker with his move inside today.
That is Teague, short with the floater, but the long board out to Jones. So you have Davis, a shot blocker at one end for Kentucky. He is something else. And you got Henson for North Carolina, who's defending right here on Jones.
2 of the very best in blocking and changing shots in the country.
And banked home by Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, freshman from Summerdale, New Jersey. A high school teammate of Dexter Strickland of the Tar Heels, and that's another turnover. The 3rd already on Carolina. Kidd-Gilchrist has it blocked on the way in, but a foul first. It's against the Tar Heels. It's called on Barnes.
You know, visiting with Roy Williams before the game, he talked about being efficient at the offensive end. Crisp passes, good cuts. Already we've seen a couple of turnovers by North Carolina. Live ball situations. A 2-point field goal resulted in 1, and now you have an opportunity for free throws here for Kidd-Gilchrist.
He'll shoot one more. This is the young man I mentioned. Played at St. Patrick's High School in New Jersey with Strickland of the Tar Heels and Kyrie Irving from Duke a year ago. They were all teammates, and they won that New Jersey Tournament of Champions title. Barnes over Kidd-Gilchrist, back to the rim, and the freshman has it for Kentucky.
Good matchups everywhere on the floor, Jim.
Blocked by Henson.
And that's one of them. Terrence Jones going up against John Henson. Excellent work by Henson. Moves his feet, times his jump, and denies it.
Henson, who fouled out of that Elite Eight game last year, as they go backdoor with Lamb. The assist to Jones. Marshall. It's Jones driving in on Henson again. Got blocked the last time. Not this one. And that's off Carolina.
Right now, Carolina is playing a little too fast. I know Roy Williams wants the pace fast, but they aren't playing fast and efficient. Careless with the ball, fueling this Kentucky team and this crowd. There you see the big number right there. Already 4 giveaways. Kentucky yet to have a miscue.
Back out to Davis.
I think Carolina has to move the ball side to side. They've taken a couple of quick one-pass jumpers, and that time they get it inside. And a better move by Zeller to go quickly into a shot attempt.
Drew the foul on Anthony Davis, his first. So Zeller, who has a long history in these matchups, back to his freshman year when he filled in for an injured Tyler Hansbrough. Started in place of him for that game and ended up breaking his wrist his freshman year.
That's right.
And last year in the regular season had a career high at the time, 27 in the win in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, he was fantastic in the tournament, averaged over 25 a game in North Carolina's run to the Elite Eight before being beaten by the University of Kentucky in what I thought was a splendid game by the Wildcats. We talked to John Calipari yesterday, and he talked about how he wants to see this team grow into being as efficient as last year's team was in March at the offensive end. Not a good look for Teague there.
Yeah, the rebound right into the arms of Henson. The free throws by Zeller ended a 7-0 run by Kentucky. Bullock is in for Carolina as Henson takes the jumper and gets it.
Nicely done. Good patience that time, Jim. He squared up, surveyed his situation, and then shot over the top of Terrence Jones. A little more poise and patience the last 2 trips for Carolina. 2 free throws and then a good jumper for Henson.
Jones drives in and tucks it.
Man, that's a big boy move right there, partner.
Against a great defender who hits at the other end. Henson got beat on the dunk, then comes back, splashes the jumper. Stolen. Bullock has it. He's got a 2-on-1 and takes it all the way in. Ties it at 11.
Who can get the most easy baskets? Points off turnovers, second shot opportunities, free throws. That's going to be a determining factor in this ball game today, Jim.
This time, jump shot doesn't fall for Terrence Jones. Barnes with another 3. He's got 2 already.
3-point basket by Barnes.
So Carolina takes the lead at 14-11 with an 11-2 spurt.
Both teams looking for this TV timeout, this media timeout right now,
Yeah.
Jim. I mean, they have been going up and down.
Oh, and there is Davis, so smooth. Here, almost 2 minutes past the window, where you expect a whistle, of course, would bring the timeout. On the floor, Jones able to scrape it off the ground, and that's a 5th turnover against the Heels. Kidd-Gilchrist driving in. minutes against Kentucky. So our first break, and Carolina's up by a point.
It's Carolina +1. I'm going to circle the ball here, and also the head of the defender, Dexter Strickland. Lamb going to be able to back cut, in part because Strickland loses sight of him for just a moment, and a beautiful bounce pass by Terrence Jones. An excellent cut. That's poised execution by the Wildcats, and that's exactly what John Calipari talked to us about yesterday after practice, wanting to see this team continuing to grow in terms of its execution. He wants them attacking, but he also wants them to be able to pull it out when there's nothing there early and then run good offense, and they did that there.
Well, they had a game here late Thursday night against St. John's, tipped after 9 o'clock at night, and they pretty much ran right over St. John's in that game. But afterwards, even though they had the 18 block shots of Kentucky school record, it was all about, in the post-game remarks, about the offensive execution.
Right. Because they're very good defensively. They get after the ball, they challenge shots, they help each other out, and usually they finish with the defensive rebound.
That ball tapped long to Kentucky and Lamb. Lamb is blocked by Barnes. Out to Jones. North Carolina has James Michael McAdoo in, number 43. A freshman from Norfolk, Virginia, and almost Bullock with the takeaway.
Some of the major rules changes this season, the 3-foot restricted arc area, a player safety issue, but also wanting to help the offensive player out near the rim. Flagrant fouls have been simplified in how they're categorized, and then double fouls will both be penalized if varying in severity. So hopefully we won't have any of those situations other than maybe a restricted area play or two. Actually, there's only about 2 of those kinds of plays on average being called, at least last year, in the restricted arc area.
Well, going inside, Kentucky with 5 of its 6 baskets have been on the inside. So that's the one thing you think we'll see the biggest change this year as far as a fan watching will be that restricted area underneath.
Exactly. And again, it's only the number of calls in that area was about 2. The number of plays last year were about 2 per game. I don't anticipate we'll see many more than that this season, but it will be the biggest difference.
Second foul on Barnes. Something to watch as Jones rattles it in on the drive.
Boy, he has been so good of late, Jim, averaging 21 points a game in his last 3, and he's just a much more mature offensive player, not rushing as much, not settling for quick perimeter shots, really trying to put pressure on the defense.
Henson at the other end, showing a lot of range with his game, with the hook, and another basket for him. He's perfect from the floor. Here is Jones coming off 26 against St. John's, and not this time. Strickland pushes it up. Strickland in the paint, back to the corner. Hairston, who's playing now. That was a big question mark coming in with a sprained wrist. And P.J. Hairston, the freshman from Greensboro, knocks down his first shot of the game.
Between he and Bullock, they've made 25 of 56 threes coming into this game. Carolina is 3 of 4 from behind the arc right now. And that was beautiful execution, Jim.
Yeah, even 30 minutes before tip, we went into the North Carolina locker room to visit with Coach Williams, and he still wasn't even sure if Hairston would play. And that is an impressive rebound by McAdoo.
It sure was. The injured wrist is the left wrist of Hairston. He's a right-handed shooter, so as long as he can comfortably catch the ball, he's in good shape.
That's Teague, and that's a foul call against Carolina. Going to be called on Hairston, even with that wrist sprain. He's trying to take the charge, but it goes against him. North Carolina shooting 64% and leads by 4.
North Carolina has made 3 of 4 threes. We're going to take a look at penetration, pass, pass. And when the ball moves like that, it's hard for defenders to catch up with it. As a matter of fact, when it moves that fast, it's like grease in a hot skillet. Hot pop.
Yeah.
Beautifully done in transition that time by North Carolina. And the efficiency that Roy Williams was hoping for after the early turnovers has been on display for the Tar Heels.
Teague at the line to shoot one more. Coming off the Hairston foul. This freshman from Indianapolis. Taking over that point position that belonged to Brendan Knight a year ago and John Wall the year before that. Both of whom are in attendance here today. And that's Teague reaching in. His first. North Carolina hitting the threes early in this one.
And they've got quality looks, Jim. In transition, a quick attack, and Harrison Barnes straight up and straight down, splash. A nice little pitch back. Barnes, splash. And then P.J. Hairston, who's shooting close to 50% on his three-point tries early in the season, knocks down another one.
Hairston, well, that quick release, and he's 2 for 2.
That makes him 14 for 28 on the year, Jim, from behind the arc.
Their top scorer off the bench, so questionable coming in. Of course, he had made a very unwise decision to tweet the other day that he was going to be out for this game.
Well, one of the things involved with tweeting with our young generation is they sometimes refrain to pause before they peck. But he learned his lesson.
After a Miller basket at one end, at the other, Henson's first miss. And a rebound by Vargas.
See how Kentucky executes here. They've been pretty good in the half court for the most part.
Darius Miller, the senior, gets it over to Lamb and back of the rim from 3. Into the corner, Hairston. Under to McAdoo. All air that time. Lamb to Miller to Jones.
Good job by North Carolina to control the ball and force Kentucky to pull it back out and set up.
Kidd-Gilchrist. McAdoo gets it out to Hairston. Hairston hits the floor. He's heading to the line. Hairston got a little extra running in yesterday at practice.
As a reminder to be a little more thoughtful in his tweets.
That's something these coaches now, you not only have to kind of be aware of what's being said out there.
Yeah, you've got to monitor that.
You've got to monitor. He certainly did that.
Yeah, every team has somebody monitoring what's going on in the world of social media and cyberspace. It's a teaching tool. It's a tremendous platform when used properly. But when young folks are exposed to the opportunity, sometimes they step outside of the lines of protocol, and it's an opportunity to help them grow.
Yeah, he's off the bench with 8 points as Miller has it swatted away by Henson. His second. Miller goes again, and this time draws the foul. Will it be Zeller? It will be on Zeller. Next weekend on CBS.
Well, nice job that time by Darius Miller to persist in attacking the rim. Did a nice job using the ball fake to draw the fouls. He's been outstanding coming off the bench. Started the last 2 years. Came off the bench as a freshman and is now comfortable in his role as elder statesman and leader and do-it-all player as a sixth man.
Yeah, he was the MOP of the SEC tournament last year as Henson almost tapped up and then by Zeller.
Well, I'm really impressed by John Henson. The fact that he's added so much to his offensive arsenal, Jim. Very confident and poised down there. His footwork is exquisite, and that length is hard to match.
Of course, this was the end of the floor where you always talked about him in the past. Still do.
Yeah.
But there is so much more game there to be shown.
A lot more, and he's showing it to us here today. Face-up jumpers, that up and under move we just saw. This is where Kentucky has to show maturity.
That was Hairston reaching in and knocking it out. And Kidd-Gilchrist hits the floor.
Man, you hate to see that, Jim. Oh, you hate to see that. Excellent cut here. Just a hard swat down on the ball. And I'm not sure if it's the elbow. It looks like he grabbed the shoulder right away. The shoulder is really one of the more vulnerable joints in the body. And when you get raked across like that.
Yep, the force that came down on Kidd-Gilchrist.
He seems to be shaking it off. Hopefully the young man is okay.
Now the ball, he's going to stay out there. It's going to be inbounded by Kentucky underneath with 4 on the shot clock.
I think he is going to take a seat, Jim.
Yep.
And he's got that left shoulder kind of hanging, so we'll see what happens as far as his ability to come back. But a short clock here now, so you need to pass it in cleanly and then attack right away.
Here's Teague, floater, short. Strickland has it for Carolina.
I'm wondering if that was a pass, perhaps.
Zeller off the feed. And North Carolina has its largest lead. Miller fires up the 3 and gets it to go. Other than one game against Portland this year when he was 4 out of 5 from 3, he'd been 1 out of 16 the rest of the season. So that was a big one by Miller. Back to Zeller, and the soft shot goes.
How much quicker did he make his move there, Jim?
Yeah, he didn't wait.
It was a catch and go to the rim. And a beautiful pass as well. Really, you like the balance that North Carolina is showing you here. They sprayed some threes, but they have not neglected to get that ball inside either.
Jones.
Big time. That's a big time move against pretty good defense there.
Last year's SEC Freshman of the Year. Now has 8 on the game. Barnes. Zeller with position. And Davis maybe whistled for that one inside. Home on Jones instead, his first. Hairston has 8 off the bench, igniting the heels in front. Jim Nansen, Clark Kellogg, pleased to be with you from Rupp Arena. And here, a look at the game summary inside of 8 minutes to go in the first half.
+9 in three-point field goals are what the Tar Heels are, but we're going to take a look at Tar Heels 3D. Strickland going to drive it. That's your first D. He's going to draw defenders right here, and then he's going to dish it to Tyler Zeller for the dunk. Drive, draw, dish, dunk. That's actually 4D, but we only could go 3D. We don't have a 4D television, so we only could go 3D in HD.
You're the first to have it. And that's 8 for Zeller on the game with 4 rebounds. Carolina sloppy in the early minutes. They had 5 turnovers in the first 6 minutes, but they haven't had any since, as Zeller adds another point. Tyler's brother Cody, freshman star at Indiana, had 19 the other night against NC State. So 2 for 2 for Zeller that time, and it leads back to 7. Wraparound pass, and Jones able to get there.
Fortunate to get that one back because Jones was not open.
Lamb from the spot, no. And coming in to snatch that rebound, it's Watts, Justin Watts. Barnes. That's a 2, had a foot on the line.
Can't leave him.
Timeout, Kentucky.
You can't leave him.
The toe on the line, he was able to hit another shot from the perimeter. Kentucky right now with its largest deficit of this young season. Wildcats coming in here at 7-0 with wins against the likes of Kansas, and I mentioned St. John's, those 2 biggest name wins. Teague with the jumper and trims it to 7.
Boy, Vargas and Zeller really battling inside.
Bullock, front of the rim. And Kidd-Gilchrist back out there after being shaken up. And he was bumped as he was trying to blitz by Harrison Barnes. And Barnes has picked up number 3.
And that's a costly one, Jim. No reason for Barnes to be getting in the path of the ball handler there. And you don't expect a guy with Harrison's experience to put himself in harm's way here. You want to be retreating and getting ready to play defense, not picking up a foul, especially your third in the backcourt.
Kidd-Gilchrist able to save that before it goes out. 6 minutes to go in the half. This pace surprise you at all, Clark?
Not at all. Kentucky wants to run. Carolina wants to run. Both teams want to be able to execute in the half court when the fast break isn't there. Carolina has played a very, very strong, mature game. And this guy is having some kind of first half. Terrence Jones, he's carrying the Wildcats offensively.
Had to put up the long-range shot. There was a second to go on the shot clock as Hairston puts it up wildly. Zeller is there. Vargas knocks it away. And it is saved by Teague. So this crowd ramped up after the Jones three. Lamb. Back out high. Teague. Can they get another three? No. Jones again. Short. Kidd-Gilchrist rejected by Hairston. And coming out with it is Watts.
Great pass.
On the wing. That's a three by Bullock.
What a pass. That's what he does. He averages 11 assists a game, does Kendall Marshall. And if you're open, he will find you on time and put the ball in the breadbasket for you.
That was a great find right there. Cross court over to Bullock, who was hanging out, and knocks it home.
Terrence Jones has been magnificent, patient, making shots from the perimeter, attacking his defender off the dribble. He's got to go now, though.
Call on Watts. So Jones draws the first on Watts. He has 11 of Kentucky's 30.
In his last 3 games, he's attempted 28 free throws, Jim. He's only made 20. But he'll get 3 here. And boy, I just love the growth in his game. He's gotten himself into better shape. According to the coaching staff, he's hungry, he's aggressive, and he's patient. And with his skill set, that's a lethal combination. Vargas gave some good minutes, a big active body, and it'll allow now for Anthony Davis, the young outstanding freshman, to finish this half.
Jones had his grandmother Pearl had a practice yesterday, watching with great pride. She's in from Portland, and he wanted to put up a big performance for her, not only Thursday night as he did with 26, but another special performance for her this afternoon.
I like the young man's focus and intensity. The last few games I've watched him, he's had the eye of the tiger, and the three-point shots continue to fall. Roy Williams told us he wanted to see Kendall Marshall look at the basket more and also knock down a few more shots, and right on cue there.
North Carolina 6 out of 8 from 3.
And you know, Jim, they come in, they're 5 for 14 on average three-point shooting team, so right about 40%. 5 for 13, but already they've surpassed their per game average of mates here in the first half.
Yep, they've got 6. Jones has 14 to lead all scorers inside of 4.
What disappointed Roy Williams the most was the fact that his team didn't fight as hard as he wanted them to fight. They didn't show the intensity, and they've traditionally been a good road team, and he wanted to see them meet that challenge and rise up to it a little more, and so far he's gotten what he's wanted here.
Yeah, I was looking for them to respond. You said
exactly.
In the past our teams have been able to respond, and it's also kind of interesting as you see Miller misses the free throw, put back up. No, Kidd-Gilchrist unable to get the short one, and it's off Kentucky. Now North Carolina comes off the 29 wins, the Elite 8, and virtually everybody back. And they're finding out it's just not that easy. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. You're going to come right back and just assume that everybody's going to lay down for you.
You get what you earn. And every year, every game, you have to come out and earn the right to be the winner. And this game, for all of its magnitude, Jim, 2-storied programs, highly ranked. They played last year in the regular season. Carolina won. They were drastically different teams when they met in March in the regional final. So this game, while we love it and it's important, it's only an opportunity in my mind to measure yourself against another elite team that you think could very well be championship caliber too.
Here's Kyle Wiltshire, freshman from Oregon, who's come in. And on the baseline, put up and in by Kidd-Gilchrist, who stayed with it. Henson.
I'll tell you what, I like the fight of this young Kentucky Wildcats team. Even though they haven't quite shot it as well from the perimeter, and they're trailing by a few, they've been aggressive and meeting the challenge that Carolina has presented so far.
Carolina with Barnes on the bench with the 3 fouls on a reach-in call on Teague. Terrence Jones has been the key for Kentucky so far.
He sure has been. He's really attacked off the dribble. There you see an aggressive move right there for the throwdown. Patience. He's been splendid as he takes a rest now. He's carried the Wildcats offensively, but he's that kind of player. I mean, he's a player of the year candidate when he brings the kind of tenacity and fire we've seen the last few games.
One more for Strickland. Tapped out by Zeller to keep possession. McAdoo gets the shot.
Assist to Kendall Marshall. Another quick spot of an open shooter. So much of getting assists is not just making the pass, it's making the pass on time when the player receiving it is ready to score.
He's got 4 assists on the game. Inside of 2 minutes to go in the half. Miller. I'll tell you, Kidd-Gilchrist something else on the offensive glass. Called on McAdoo. His burst coming up, AT&T at the half. Tim Brando and company will have a preview of the SEC championship game from Atlanta. We'll update you on the scores around college basketball and a look at Clark's Final Four favorites. Looking forward to that coming up on the AT&T at the half.
Well, you're right, Jim. I echo your sentiments about Kidd-Gilchrist. He's been beating up that weak side glass. He hasn't gotten much to show for it yet. But, man, you love the effort.
What a scene here at Rupp Arena as Kidd-Gilchrist tries to shrug that one off. A place that has led college basketball in attendance 14 of the last 15 years. And they're looking at a renovation here. Mayor Jim Gray and some local civic leaders like Brent Rice, who's the chairman of a task force here for the Arena Arts and Entertainment Commission, looking at doing some special things for this whole complex here. It's been open since 1976. And a raucous scene today, and one of the harder tickets they'll tell you they've ever had as Carolina throws it away.
Without question, great environment, and it's certainly one of the most difficult tickets to get. There you see, that was only the second turnover since about the 16-minute mark of this half for North Carolina. 12 and a half minutes they went without a turnover after having 4 in the first 5 minutes.
A tie-up as Marshall reached in on Miller, and the arrow keeps it with Kentucky. Well, you talked about you don't know what this game will lead to, but going into the season, everyone was talking about these two. Of course, others like Ohio State so impressive. And it's win over Duke this week as Lamb called for the charge.
Excellent job by Tyler Zeller. The second foul on Deron Lamb. We'll take a look at it. Baseline drive. Good job by Zeller, although he may have stepped in.
Had to have a little hop at the end of that, didn't he?
He did. Yep, that should have gone the other way, I think. Zeller was in good position, but then he had that last little hop and jumped into the offensive player there.
Zeller unable to save it. Up ahead, Kidd-Gilchrist. Wow, what explosion with that move. And Kentucky chipping away at this lead late in the first half.
I mentioned it earlier, but the fight of the Wildcats, working through a little adversity. They haven't had as much smoothness offensively as they'd like, but offensive rebounds by Kidd-Gilchrist, attacking the rim and still getting after it defensively, have allowed them to stay tight.
Strickland with a 2.
Last shot time here for the Wildcats. Been as entertaining as advertised, Jim.
Absolutely.
Both ways. I would just say the Tar Heels have had a little bit more balance in their offensive attack. And the three-point shot, that's really been the difference so far.
Here's Jones with 6 seconds. Slides off the rim. Carolina's got time. Up ahead, it's Henson. And misses the dunk at the buzzer and no foul.
I think he took his eyes off the rim momentarily. He's looking for something. May have lost something that he wears on his finger, but I thought he took his eyes off the basket momentarily. Good effort by Lamb. I think that's Lamb and Jones.
That's the end of the first half with the score. North Carolina 43 and Kentucky 38. We'll send you to Tim Brando in Atlanta with AT&T at the half after this message on a word from your local station. All right, let's take a look at our Bud Light first half stats. North Carolina leading at 43-38. They only had 9 minutes out of Harrison Barnes in that first half, collecting 3 fouls.
Also highlight the three-point shooting there, Jim. But you're right, the issue with Harrison Barnes picking up that third foul, that could be a factor. And then you look at the shooting percentage from North Carolina. They did a good job converting inside more so than Kentucky. I like the fact Kentucky won the free throw game just by 1 make, but 4 attempts, and they also did a good job on the glass. They just need a few more conversions at their offensive end.
And again, if Kentucky loses this game, your Buckeyes would move up to number 1.
It's always nice discussion material, but in reality, it's just a number next to your name. You want to be getting better, staying healthy, and improving for your conference season, and then getting ready for postseason play down the road. But we look at the back half of the top 10. Again, I highlighted Baylor earlier. A couple of outstanding wing players in Quincy Miller and Perry Jones to keep an eye on there.
And you saw Wisconsin on that list.
Bo Ryan doing it as he always does.
North Carolina beating them on Wednesday night down at the Smith Center. North Carolina inbound now as we start the second stanza. Carolina at 6-1 on the year with wins over Michigan State and Wisconsin to highlight it. That's Zeller tapping it out. And Kentucky has it with Kidd-Gilchrist.
Went right into the low post with Harrison Barnes, who I think can be effective down there. Good job by Kentucky to challenge the shot and then come up with the rebound.
Lamb.
That's his shot. He loves that little half runner when he gets into the lane off the dribble. Uh-oh, Zeller is... Boy, he looked like he was injured for a moment there, Jim. He took that fall.
Now he gets it down low. That's his shot. Doesn't go.
And he's had the better of the matchup with Anthony Davis, the freshman. Just hasn't been able to find much operating room. Zeller's done a nice job keeping his body on him and trying to wear him down that way, taking his legs out from under him so he's not able to get loose around the rim.
Here is Davis, who nearly had a triple-double on Thursday night. Would have been only the second one in Kentucky history, and it stays with the Cats. Yeah, Davis has put up unbelievable numbers when it comes to block shots. He's had at least 3 in every game this year.
Yeah, 16 in his last 3, and he had 8 blocks in that game the other night against St. John with the 15 points and 15 rebounds.
No blocks so far in this one. Jones implores Teague, take it back out high, let's reset.
Yep. See what they get out of it now. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Good look for Gilchrist.
He got it. Down to 1. feed it to Zeller.
Nice.
Strickland's open. Got the 2.
Every time Kentucky has made a little bit of a surge and gotten this crowd into it, Carolina, the experienced team that they are, has responded. But that's a big-time answer by the young fella, Kidd-Gilchrist, imploring the crowd to get into it. And Anthony Davis found space above the rim that time. Kidd-Gilchrist with the nice lob for one of the few times Zeller did not maintain contact with Anthony Davis, and he paid for it.
Strickland called for it. And the three-point play ties the game at 45. You say Carolina's responded every time the crowd's been on its feet. Let's see if it can happen again.
No double team on Zeller.
Marshall, yes, with the 3.
Something in Roy Williams' message about responding to the challenge has taken hold, at least so far, after not doing so in the loss at UNLV.
There's Davis and Marshall. Comes away with the steal. All want to head ahead up to Strickland.
Boy, an opportunity blown there.
To Henson. Oh. On the floor to Zeller. Strickland again. Out to Barnes off the swat, and Barnes so coolly knocks down a 3.
He's unflappable, Jim.
Coming off the block shot, it came right to him. Back-to-back 3s by Carolina. First Marshall, then Barnes.
So far, the Tar Heels have been at their counter-punching best so far. And yet Kentucky continues to fight and try to answer back. Good activity by Davis to help keep that ball alive.
Gilchrist spins. Wow, what a shot. And 1.
Big time move right there. Young fella agitating in the washing machine. Kidd-Gilchrist to the rack, and he'll have a chance for the 3-point play. Jim, we have 8 of the 50 preseason Naismith Award watch list players in here. We're not going to see that any other time during the regular season. We may see it depending on what happens come tournament time, but 4 players from each of these teams on the preseason watch list for the Naismith Award. And that kind of talent is what we're seeing on display here with the individual performances. Jones, Gilchrist with that magnificent move. Zeller, Henson, Kendall Marshall with his dime dropping. Harrison Barnes with his cool 3-point shooting.
And there's the steal.
Teague on that list as well.
Yeah, being in practice yesterday here at Kentucky, you were all fired up about all these matchups with all that talent, all those Naismith watch list players. Here's a matchup right here with Jones and Henson. Henson, who got called for that foul a moment ago. Kentucky, 6 on the shot clock. Kidd-Gilchrist driving into the paint, yes! This kid's starting to light it up.
He sure is. Beautiful execution late in the shot clock by Kentucky.
He's got 15 for the game, 7.5. Pulled down by Jones with aggression. Kentucky hasn't led since 15-14. Has a chance to take it here, and does with Teague inside. Hairston with the 3 right back to North Carolina. Well, that kid has some shot. And how about how fast is that release?
Range and a quick trigger and no hesitation. And again, another counter punch from the Tar Heels. But these Wildcats, even though they're young, they're showing a nice maturity here today.
Marshall left alone, and
Nobody going to stop the ball?
Nobody. Went right past Davis. No one was there to meet him in the paint.
Wow, that was a major breakdown there. You've got to get the ball stopped, and Marshall took full advantage of it.
To Miller.
Too easy. Boy, Hairston just let him get all the way in front of the rim.
There's Hairston again. Zeller. And it belongs to North Carolina. Coming back out of the break. Tar Heels have hit 9 threes and lead by 4. Now, they were on this team 2 years ago. A couple of Wildcats who went to the Elite 8. DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall getting a close look at this action today. How about that?
Kidd-Gilchrist has been fantastic. He's been really working hard on the glass. Here in the second half, he's been able to take the ball effectively to the hole. And when he's able to knock down that jump shot, he's really hard to deal with because he's so explosive with his first step and has the ability to finish over or through contact. There you see he's balanced his scoring so far, but we've only played 6 minutes here in the second half. But he has been really outstanding with his play today. Coming off a game where he struggled scoring the ball the other night against St. John's, was just 1 of 7 from the floor and had 5 points and 2 rebounds in 22 minutes.
Vargas on the floor for Kentucky, a sub.
Better matchup for Zeller with his body.
Bullock saves it to Barnes on the wing.
Zeller got another rebound there. Tapped it back out.
8 rebounds for Zeller. Barnes. And that's Watts fighting for it, and it's going against him. His second.
That's his second and the team's third.
McAdoo back on the floor.
Checking in for North Carolina, number 5, Kendall Marshall, also number 31, John Henson, and number 43.
Watts, who scored the last 2 points in the 2009 National Championship game when Carolina won up in Detroit. Maybe someone's on the floor here today who will have the last points of the season down in New Orleans.
You're always looking at things in the broadest context.
Bringing it all to the Final Four. Here's Teague. As Henson.
I love it, partner. Just call you Mr. Factoid.
A lot of late nights. Got to rewind the tape. As Henson wants to make the move and does squeeze his pass.
That was a terrific move, but then everything about the shot left a lot to be desired. You're going to make that kind of effective move, you want to finish it with strength. I think John Henson just lost his balance there.
Second foul on McAdoo.
So a couple of empty trips both ways. Three-point shooting really the difference so far. Carolina's been outstanding from behind the arc, and Kentucky yet to get going from there.
Yep, missed its last 7 as Lamb high off the glass and bouncing out to Marshall. Bounce pass, missed the dunk with Strickland.
He couldn't palm it, so it rolled off his fingers. When you've got to cup it and dunk it, you're more prone to losing control of it.
Oh, that's McAdoo.
Tell you what, you're not getting anything easy at the rim today, Jim. Here you take a look. See, that's Kendall Marshall. You saw the ball slip out of Strickland's hands there. When you don't have the ability to palm it or cup it right away, then it can get away from you, and that's exactly what happened. But a good challenge by the Kentucky defenders, and McAdoo now, after being challenged on a dunk.
His dad, Ronnie McAdoo, back in the 1980 NCAA tournament, had 25 points and 12 rebounds for Old Dominion and coach Paul Webb in a game against eventual national runner-up UCLA. And you met that same UCLA team, in fact, in that tournament, Clark. You also got knocked out by the Bruins. McAdoo's dad.
Hey, I like you digging up the factoids, but don't make it personal and bring back bad memories, partner.
That was a special delivery from our man, John Coleman'sburger.
Oh, JK, a little dagger.
The greatest.
Thank you. 2 missed free throws there by McAdoo, and when a game is tight, you don't want to throw away those kinds of opportunities, especially when you're on the road.
Jones rattles out. Up ahead is Henson. But Kentucky gets back. We've not had a basket on either side for over 2.5 minutes. North Carolina's missed its last 6 shots. Here's McAdoo, baseliner. It's long. It's Henson who has it knocked out of his hands. And Lamb wants to challenge Marshall and does so. Down to 2.
Terrific move by Lamb. Knew he had the defender backpedaling and never got in a hurry to finish.
Kentucky with a chance to tie or take the lead at 11 minutes. With 10 on the shot clock. And down by 2. Lamb on the drive, lost it, still recovered, and takes it off the glass to tie it. Next whistle will bring the under 12 timeout. These teams looking fatigued at the moment as Barnes comes up short.
Well, you're right on it, Jim. They're looking forward to the next dead ball because they've gone about 7 minutes without any real stop in play. And they're highly conditioned, but that's a lot longer than normal.
Lamb, tap, no. Henson gets up high as always. Henson at the other end. They wanted a walk here, no call. That's Barnes reaching in to get it back for North Carolina.
This is where you really got to execute and make sure you get a high-quality shot.
Carolina 5 minutes without a basket.
Ideally, you'd like to get something going to the rim, and you give yourself a chance to be fouled.
Henson down low, under the cylinder, and gives North Carolina the lead back.
How about the footwork and that nice move?
That's what it was all about.
It sure was.
Breaks a 5-minute and 25-second drought. Still waiting for the under 12 timeout. Marshall, he knows his up ahead. Strickland, that is.
I think that's a case of fatigue with Lamb a little bit. I really do, Jim.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he's actually asking. Oh, he's actually claiming that he made the mistake. I thought he was asking to come out, but he can't go until there's a dead ball. He was just indicating that he indeed had made that mistake. But I think it was due to fatigue. Trying to post up Darius Miller on the smaller Strickland, which is a good call.
Miller and 1. Third foul on McAdoo. When we come back, Miller will be at the line to try to trim it to 1. A good one here in Rupp indeed.
You see he's almost at a double-double. He's only had 7 field goal attempts. But I think his physicality has impacted Anthony Davis. He's kept his body on him at the defensive end and not allowed Anthony Davis to get loose at the rim more than once or twice. And when he has caught it cleanly inside, he's been able to score.
Here's Miller at the line. Off the bench now in double figures with 10. And number 1 trims it to 1 at 60-59 North Carolina. Zeller doubled up.
Good hard double team too. And he lost it.
Now we've got the other under 8 break. 10th turnover against North Carolina. Kentucky ball when we come back. All right, Clark, I didn't dig up this little nugget, but did you ever think of it this way?
Somebody else as part of our illustrious team did. No, I never looked at it from this perspective. states. We've got what? That's 11 and 9. That's 20 between the states of Kentucky and North Carolina, and 15 out in California.
Leave it to coordinating producer of college basketball on CBS, Bob Dekas, our director, Chris Svensson. Deke, this week, celebrating his 30-year anniversary since first coming to CBS this week, and in charge of all these Final Fours for so many years. Very
Still
special,
doing it at a high level.
very special part of this whole presentation for so many years. Now 20 on the shot clock. Barnes is still not on the floor for Carolina as Davis gets the soft touch.
Well, I tell you what, Anthony Davis, he hasn't had many opportunities, Jim. But to his credit, he's been patient, and he has such magnificent hands. I mean, this is a heck of a catch. And then to turn right into a shot under control, he made that look much easier than it is.
A foul on Miller a moment ago, but Davis's basket gives Kentucky the lead at 61-60. We've had 8 lead changes in the game. And there is Davis crashing in for the rebound.
They're really hard on the double team of Zeller on the catch, coming with another big. So he's not been able to get into a shot. Kicked it out quickly and got a pretty good look from Marshall there.
Wiltshire gets it back. 3 on the shot clock. Whoa, on a move with the left hand off the glass. Kyle Wiltshire, the freshman from Portland, McDonald's All-America, who had 19 in the game against Penn State, getting his first points of this one.
Look at the hard double team. They're really coming to get it out of Zeller's hands. Carolina going to have to be able to go inside out and then knock down the perimeter shot.
Zeller, left hand, yes.
Another example of excellent hands, a good catch right into the shot.
First points of the second half for Zeller.
And a much-needed hoop for North Carolina.
Interestingly, Terrence Jones has not scored in the second half for Kentucky, and he comes off the bench ready to check in.
As does Kidd-Gilchrist, who has scored quite a bit here in the second half.
Yeah, he's made up for it with 7.
Lamb is dangerous if he's free.
He's free. Timeout.
30-second timeout, North Carolina.
Called by North Carolina. Well, we've had a momentum shift here, partner. Carolina did lead it at 60-56. Now a 10-2 stretch for Kentucky. What's happened?
Well, they've been able to execute offensively, and they've also been able to get inside. They've controlled the scoring in the paint, have the Wildcats, and I think the double teaming hard of Tyler Zeller has really been effective, keeping that ball out of the paint for North Carolina.
Second in for North Carolina, number 31, John.
Carolina comes back on the floor with Barnes to inbound after a big break for him.
Lamb knocked down the 3 as we went to that break to give Kentucky this 4-point cushion. I'd expect North Carolina to try to get the ball inside to one of its front line players, either Barnes, Henson, or Zeller. Risky pass and a turnover. Really impressed with Kentucky's stick-to-itiveness, Jim. The defense has been consistent. The focus and effort there, even when things weren't going as well offensively at times in the first half, they've stayed the course, which bodes well for this young team going forward.
Five on the shot clock. Under 5 in the game. Lamb gives it up. Jones. Rebound Davis. Foul on Marshall, his first.
Boy, Davis starting to make his presence felt here, Jim.
That
Couple of rebounds and that one field goal he had.
Yeah, that one alley-oop seemed to really get him going.
Well, I just like the demeanor he plays with. Never seems to be flustered. He might get pushed around a little bit, but very much stays within himself.
Teague tapped out, chasing the corner. Bullock got it to Marshall. Carolina has numbers. Zeller, foul, and heading to the line.
What a play by Kendall Marshall to keep that ball alive. I mean, that wasn't a clean outlet pass to him, but he sees so well. This is the tail end of it, and then he's always got his head up. I don't know if anybody in college basketball passes a head better than Marshall. Scott Machado leads the country in assists, the outstanding point guard at Iona. But I don't know if he passes it ahead any better than Kendall Marshall. He might be his equal.
That foul was on Kidd-Gilchrist, his first. Actually his second, and just the third team foul of the half.
Coming out is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Well, it's been a high-level game throughout, partner. And now it comes down to the nuts and bolts. Taking care of it, executing, who can get it to the paint, draw fouls and knock down free throws. And then obviously you always have the three-point shot as a real dagger and weapon. Kentucky is going to try to beat Carolina off the dribble.
Lamb hitting the big shots. Looking like the scorer like his dad was at Long Island. And it's going back to Kentucky. His father, Calvin, was a prolific scorer at Long Island University. And now his son is doing it up for UK. Coach Cal with his team ranked #1. And he's had a team ranked #1 now 3 of the last 5 years. Going back to Memphis and for a short stint a couple of years ago. Carolina hits it with Barnes.
Big time shot there. Kentucky has been outstanding defensively and was not bad there, although Barnes had a good clean look on a call play from the baseline.
Obviously that last call before the break, it was off Kentucky, so Carolina comes back, hits the big shot. Miller, meanwhile, responds at the other end. Back to 4 for the Wildcats.
Barnes can try to take over, and he's more than capable, and lost it.
Yeah, he lost it as Miller was there to defend.
The defense by Kentucky. Their feet have been moving, the hands have been active. Carolina has shot just 32% from the floor here in the second half. And that's all attributable to the defense of Kentucky. This is where Kentucky's so dangerous because they can break you down off the dribble. And Lamb is lethal from the three-point line if you have to help.
4 on the shot clock, and it's going the other way. Call is on Miller for pushing off.
Yeah, he got it out there just enough to warrant the whistle. Got it out there just enough to warrant the whistle. We'll take a look at it. Watch the left arm, folks, right there. That's an easy call.
That's his second.
You get that arm that far away from your body, that far away from the goal, the officials are going to nail you on that one every time.
2 minutes, 16 seconds to play.
I think Carolina's got to try to go inside. No double this time with Davis playing behind.
Zeller, hook, off the rim. Henson's inside, and he's fouled by Kentucky.
That was good execution by Carolina there. Get it inside, no double team. Zeller able to get into a shot. And then Henson able to beat his man to the offensive rebound.
It was Davis from behind, his second.
Oh, they're calling that a shot attempt as well.
Wow.
Surprised by that, Jim. I thought he was just going after the rebound, but the officials thought that he had control. Or called it as if he had control, and that's 2 big free throws. Let's take a look here. Fighting. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it was after it was on the second. He did have 2 hands on it. It looked like, yeah, that's a good call.
71-69 Wildcats. Kidd-Gilchrist. Foul call on North Carolina. They do not count the basket.
Nor should they. He was bumped clearly before he got into a shooting motion. Bump, and then that's clearly a foul on the floor.
It's going to be a 1-on-1.
Although it will be the bonus. That's right.
That was the 7th team foul, the 2nd on Marshall. So Kidd-Gilchrist at the line. 75% on the season.
I love the way this young man attacks the basket, Jim. Kidd-Gilchrist has an explosive step, and he's got an aggressive mindset. And John Calipari was talking to him and Marcus Teague yesterday in practice. He considered them his quickest thinking players amongst many that he's coached, and wants them to aggressively attack the basket from the wing.
The freshman hits 2 big ones. That ball kicked by Kentucky. 17 points for Kidd-Gilchrist. That's, of course, his 8th game. That's his highest total here at the start of his career.
Couldn't come at a better time. Still work to be done, but he's certainly done his part to this point.
Turned over by Carolina. Off Strickland.
Yeah, just the ball pressure. Sometimes you don't have to deflect it. All you have to do is be a distraction. And that's what Lamb was there. That's tight quarters to be making that pass as well, but good ball pressure by Kentucky. Boy, Terrence Jones has been quiet this half, Jim. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get in isolation and try to go to work. Although with Kentucky, they've got multiple weapons they can play through.
Teague in the lane, back out high as we approach a minute.
1 minute left in the game.
Lamb lost it. Carolina takes it. Barnes gets it up near midcourt to Marshall. Snaps it cross court to the corner. Bullock, yes! Huge shot by Reggie Bullock. Sophomore who blew out a knee late in February, was not available for the tournament last year. That's Marshall who found him. Twice he's done that in this game, going cross court to him. We are back with Kentucky inbounding, leading by 1, coming out of a Carolina timeout. And Reggie Bullock just hitting a huge 3 right in front of his North Carolina bench. Off the bench with 8, in fact, for the game.
Well, bench play has been in favor of North Carolina. Bullock and Harrison earlier have really been very productive from the three-point line. Now, this situation, you've got 2 for 1 if you're Kentucky. If you want to go quick, they probably won't. It's more important they get a good quality shot. And then Carolina wants to defend without fouling and make Kentucky earn points by shooting over a challenged defensive position. So let's see what happens here. They'll break it down. This is where Teague has to be ready to look for his shot or create for somebody else.
He's driving, and a whistle outside, and there was contact on the hip. Foul on Marshall. Again, it'll be, that's his 3rd. It'll be a 1-and-1. 8th team foul.
Teague is only a 56% free throw shooter.
This is something as the season develops. Your point guard, his free throw percentage be so big. Late in the year, big conference games, then March will roll around. And the freshman's never had any bigger ones in a Kentucky uniform to this point. He's got a 1-1. Rebound out to Bullock. 20 seconds to go.
I think you go early enough so you have a chance for a second shot if you're North Carolina. So that's at about the 5-second mark.
Marshall inside Zeller. Zeller lost the handle. Henson has it. He's blocked by Davis. No foul committed, and Kentucky will take it by 1 off the block by Anthony Davis. It was a matchup of shot blockers. We've been waiting all game long for Anthony Davis to have his presence felt at that end of the floor. And he swats away the attempt for the lead by John Henson.
We get another look at it, Jim. The young fella has shown tremendous poise all game long. Timed his jump perfectly. And then North Carolina, stunned by the block, stopped playing.
They still had time to commit a foul.
Time, Jim, but they gave up on it.
That shot was taken at about the 4-second mark.
Inexplicably, the Carolina players conceded, did not foul, and they give Kentucky a 1-point win in what was as excellent and as exciting as we anticipated.
2 years ago, Anthony Davis was a 6'2" guard only recruited by Cleveland State. Now he's a freshman starter at Kentucky.